Welcome to the Configure Price Quote podcast. My name is Frank Sohn and I'm the founder of No CPQ Consulting. This podcast is 100% focused on Configure Price Quote, also known as CPQ, and will provide you useful insights into this topic. My guest today is Sreekanth Lapala, founder and CEO of Dextara Digital. Dextara Digital is a unique company because they offer Salesforce consulting services and they have developed their own CPQ solution. The company is based in Hyderabad, India, and has also offices in the UK and the US. Welcome to the CPQ podcast, Sreekanth.
Thank you, Frank. I'm very excited to be here.
And I'm very excited to have you. And let's maybe start by telling our listeners a little bit more about what you did before you founded Dextara Digital in 2019, I believe.
Sure. I have close to 24 years of experience in software product and services space. A large part of my experience was with a NASDAQ-listed company by name Virtusa. I joined them in 2002 as an engineer when the company's headcount was barely around 200 people globally. And my stint with them lasted for 17 years. And that's when, I started moving up the corporate chain from starting as an engineer in 2002 to resigning from the company as a global delivery head. As a global delivery head, I was managing 20,000 plus people, delivering solutions to 198 clients globally and servicing $1.2 billion in revenue. I had tremendous amount of learning in this process by interacting with CXOs from Fortune 100 clients and handling several global transformation programs that I've personally been accountable to deliver. Though I've joined Virtusa after working in a product company, my product engineering and product management experience were further sharpened at Virtusa because until 2010, Virtusa was a market leader in building great products for some global product companies.
Excellent. I mean, that's quite the journey. So especially going from that very large organization to a startup, what was the reason for you to do that?
Good question, Frank. At Virtusa, I pretty much hit the ceiling unless I wanted to move to New York and move into the business development roles. On the other hand, I always had an entrepreneurial bug in me, and with extensive experience that I gained in 20 plus years in Virtusa, I had a lot of confidence that I could start something new and make it successful. Though it's still very early days for Dextara, from the way we have shaped the organization in the last 2.5 years, I'm quite satisfied with the journey, and now I'm looking to double down and grow from here.
And what excites you the most these days about the CPQ market?
Yeah, so in the CPQ space, if you start to see the trend in the last 12 months, and a lot is being spoken about how the CPQ transformation has to take place, both from the CPQ product vendors as well as how the CPQ product is being implemented and how the CPQ product is going to be used by the customers. The 4 key areas that I think I'm excited about is there's more and more demand for a very, very high performing CPQ engine from customers across the globe. Many customers are looking for headless CPQ. So there's a lot of chatter that I pick up on the CPQ topic in the headless CPQ to enable self-service and B2B commerce. The third one that I frequently see is that customers are spending a ton of dollars and many months or several months before they can actually implement and go live on their CPQ. So they're looking for something which is very intuitive, where the product management team can set up the products, catalogs, pricing rules all by themselves.
Excellent. That's a very timely point that you made with the headless, because just over the weekend I got the question from someone in India actually, right? So what headless is for CPQ and why that's important. Do you have a 1-2 minute version that you can share here?
Yeah, Frank, definitely. Because Dextara CPQ that we are building also supports headless model. The fundamental definition of what an headless for any particular product is that the customers who are implementing your product should be able to call the APIs So whatever the head or the UX of your product is doing, they should be able to call the APIs and they can recreate that experience in a much better way or in a very different way or in a self-branded way as the customers want. So essentially, you take all the key functions of a CPQ and ensure that the architecture of the product is more on the microservices principles, and ensure that you expose the APIs so that the customers can call each of those APIs and can connect the dots and make the process flow, the sales process flow work. So that's essentially in a nutshell what a headless CPQ means.
Excellent. And if anyone has any questions about this, I have a short version that I can send to you as well. So, but now before we talk about Dextara Digital, let's talk a little bit more about yourself, Sreekanth. What do you do when you don't work?
Well, Frank, when I'm not working, I like to take time out and spend that time as something which I call as me time, and some part of that time is dedicated to the family because they don't get a chance to spend a lot of time with us when we are running startups. So during me time, I focus on keeping myself fit by doing long distance running or cycling. Pre-pandemic, I used to do 4 to 5 half marathons every year across the country. And at times, I also practice yoga or go to gym to break the monotony of running. During the family time, surprisingly, I love to cook. I cook very well. And my family enjoys my delicacies. And the icing of the cake is really when your family appreciates what you cooked for its taste. And I've realized of late that cooking is a great stress buster.
Excellent. Good. So then let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about Dextara Digital, right? So I think the company is very interesting because of the mix that I already mentioned in the introduction. But tell us a little bit more about it, what your company offers, what product and services you offer.
Yeah, so Dextara is a digital transformation services company, and it's 100% focused on Salesforce ecosystem. We don't do anything other than Salesforce. So we have deep expertise from a services standpoint on Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Experience Cloud, and Force.com platforms. In our 2.5 years of journey, we've been part of multiple large transformation programs, be it mid-size customers or enterprise customers, and largely the focus was on the lead to cash journey, along with focus on configure price quote as well as order management. While building expertise at scale within Salesforce ecosystem, Dextara has been investing in R&D to identify the white spaces to build solutions that can augment Salesforce and in turn expedite the digital transformation journey of our clients. The first product from Dextara product roadmap series is Configure Price Quote. There are several CPQ solutions I know that are out there in the market, including what Salesforce offers as Salesforce CPQ and Salesforce Industry CPQ, also known as a Velocity CPQ. However, given the advancements in technology as well as growing demand from the customers for simple and flexible selling with features such as lightning speed performance, a rule engine that can handle complex rules with ease, a headless requirement that we just talked about, we saw an opportunity that we can definitely build a CPQ solution ground up. And so here are we now with Dextara CPQ, Frank.
Excellent. And one question that comes up in this context, Sreekanth, is how does it coexist with the Salesforce Industry solution where you have to practice as well? How can these two exist side by side? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, Frank. So Salesforce Industry CPQ, or even for that matter, if you take Salesforce CPQ, they have a whole bouquet of functionality that sometimes is not required at the price point that is offered for many customers. There are many next generation companies that are coming up with SaaS models of selling in terms of subscription models, usage based models, and stuff like that. So we are trying to cater to someone who wants to leverage a solution that is very quick and easy to implement, and at the same time is built on a native Salesforce platform, so they get all the security and all the bells and whistles that the secure Salesforce platform provides them, and yet they have a CPQ platform that is easy and cost effective for implementation.
Excellent. Then let's look at the integration, because the CPQ solutions always need to integrate with something, right? So with CRM, ERP, PLM, what can you tell us? What does your solution integrate with out of the box?
Yeah, so given that Dextara CPQ is a Salesforce native solution, and as with any solution that is built on Salesforce, even Dextara CPQ is highly integration friendly with any downstream systems such as financial systems or order management systems or ERPs. Given that we are already on Salesforce native platform, the integration that we focused on are in the lead to code journey, especially around your DocuSign or your digital signatures with respect to completing the code process. That's primarily that's out of box in the product, and rest of the integrations can all be built using the standard Salesforce integration features.
Excellent. And what can you tell us about the architecture? Because you mentioned 2.5 years ago you started building the solution. Does it mean it is built on microservices? I think APIs you already mentioned, so I assume that's there. Is it built on that? And how important is that for your customers, for the buying decisions that they make?
Definitely, yes. I think customers, before making any buying decisions, it makes sense for them to study the architecture a little bit or try and understand, what's the principles that were followed in the product development. So Dextara CPQ is very, very heavily influenced by the microservices architecture, and we do have APIs that are exposed to cater to the headless solution needs. The key focus areas where we have invested heavily, both in terms of time as well as dollars, are in the product data model and rule engine. For any CPQ solution to scale, it should be designed to handle complex product structures and can execute rules at lightning speed. So we have taken the advantage of Lightning Web Components of Salesforce from the usability and UX standpoint, and we will probably be among very few CPQ solutions on App Exchange that is 100% native to Salesforce and 100% native, 100% on LWC. Yes, the underlying architecture, as I mentioned, is very important for the customers to know before they make a buying decision.
Got it. And how many employees do you have at this time?
So we are, close to 140 people organization, Frank, at this point in time. The way we have structured the organization is product engineering, which is a 15-member team that is completely focused on developing the CPQ product. A professional services and customer support team. This is a small team at this point in time, which is a 5-member team, and it will start growing as we sign up more customers. And the consulting and implementation services that we do for end-to-end Salesforce implementations, we have close to 120 people working on those implementations.
Okay, got it. So the majority on that team, but still is considerable growth within 2.5 years. So what were the biggest challenges from your point of view to manage the team growth as such dramatic team growth within a short amount of time?
Yeah, this is one question I'm proud to answer because it's been a phenomenal growth for Dextara in the last 2.5 years. The reason for growth, Frank, is two-pronged. From the demand side, we have many customers who are reaching us to help them in their Salesforce implementation journey. And 80% of the cases are where either the primary vendor hasn't met the expectations or they are short on demonstrating the capacity and the capability that is required for digital transformation. Now, from the supply side, which is from the team's standpoint, Dextara is slowly becoming an employer of choice among pure play Salesforce consulting and ISV companies. For someone who has started their career in Salesforce or someone who spent last 8 to 10 years on Salesforce technologies, they are believing that Dextara offers them 3 good reasons as to why they should join Dextara and be part of this journey. The first one is it's a Salesforce only company, so their growth is directly proportional to the company's growth. Dextara, as you also mentioned, is a little unique because they're not only a consulting partner but also an ISV partner, and with CPQ product they've demonstrated the capability and the vision to build solutions and products. And the third one is essentially around the technical edge that an engineer or an architect will get when they have an opportunity to work both on the product development side as well as work with several different global clients doing consulting and implementation. So they get best of both worlds of what an engineer or architect or a tech lead generally aspire for. So that's been the secret sauce of our growth in the last 2.5 years.
Excellent. And then one question. So I had also mentioned in the introduction that you have offices in the UK and the US. What kind of folks do you have in these offices, and how many folks are in these offices?
Very, very few to start with. So these are primarily offices where we can support the demos and the implementations to our clients, as well as these are considered as sales offices. But they will eventually grow to a certain scale, and we may also kind of offload some of the R&D activities to these offices in UK and US. But right now, it's sales and customer support from an implementation standpoint.
Novo CPQ Consulting helps you with all CPQ related questions. For example, we help customers to find the best CPQ solution for their business, and we help customers analyze their current business process to determine if and where CPQ can help. Here it's important to point out that we are 100% independent and always look out for our customers first. This means for us also that we don't get paid by any CPQ vendor for providing them new customers or for any other services. We are focused on our customers and always provide the best available information to them. We also help system integrators to improve their services, and we offer the only CPQ industry subscription that provides monthly CPQ news and trends. We have many other services, so check it out today at novocpq.com. Send me an email to frank.sohn@novocpq.com to learn how we can help you with your CPQ questions, and keep us in mind when you look for 100% impartial CPQ advice. And what industries do you focus on with your professional service business as well as with your CPQ solution?
To be honest, Frank, we have not discounted ourselves from any specific industry vertical as of now. However, from a CPQ solution standpoint, our aspiration and focus will be the small, medium, and large enterprises that are offering their products or services in the SaaS subscription model. This is because our product has a lot of depth in subscription selling, renewals, and amendments. Having said that, I will admit that Dextara CPQ is still not there to support industries such as manufacturing, specifically where there is a need for visualization. I should say Dextara CPQ is actually well positioned to support the B2B commerce and subscription models. From a services standpoint, we have again not created a niche for ourselves in a specific vertical, because we've been doing projects around in the financial services, in the telecom space, in the high-tech space. At some point in time in our journey, in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll probably find a sweet spot on an industry vertical that we have to double down and build a lot of domain and process knowledge in that specific industry.
But one question I have to ask here as well is obviously which geographies you're focusing on when you're selling the solution. So since right now you have most of the folks in India, is that also your initial focus, or you're focusing on different geography locations?
No, we are. In fact, though the folks are in India, Frank, even on the professional services front, all of my clients are either US, UK, or in some of the Asia Pac countries. In fact, I don't have any active clients that we are serving. Those are based out of India. So our market focus would be UK, US, and Asia Pac markets from a outreach program standpoint. However, I would say that our products and services can be delivered to the global market, as pandemic has really taught us the art of remote delivery to any corner of the world, wherever you are. It doesn't really matter. As long as your solution, you have the capability to deliver, I think that's what matters at the end of the day.
Got it. And then one question concerning the scalability of the solution. So if you develop the solution yourself, you have a consulting arm, does that mean you also go forward, you want to implement the solution yourself, or you're already looking out to find some partners who help you implement your own CPQ solution?
Our design principle of the organization has been that we implement the solution ourselves. And that's the reason why we are playing both in the professional services world as well as the product space. But the beauty of Dextara CPQ, Frank, is that it can be entirely implemented by the customers themselves just by following our implementation videos. So we made our product configuration so simple that our customers don't have to spend a lot of their budget on implementation. And having said that, we train our customers to be self-sufficient, and we have support models that customers can subscribe to ensure mutual success on how well the product is being implemented. And if there are any challenges, our professional services team is definitely there to do the fit gap analysis of what the customer wants and how that can be achieved in the product. If something is missing, then our professional services team will take up the customization for that specific customer.
And that's maybe a good segue to my next question, and that's how long a typical CPQ project is for your team. And again, the question is for both parts, so for the professional services part as well as for your Dextara CPQ solution.
Good question again, Frank. It really depends. We have experience of implementing Salesforce CPQ as well as Velocity CPQ or Salesforce Industry CPQ, right? Typically, these projects for a small enterprise or a small mid-market segment client has taken anywhere between 3 to 4 months. But for large enterprises where there are a lot of downstream integration with order management, we have seen these projects even go for close to 9 months to a year. It really depends on the customer size and the customizations and the integrations that they want with any of these CPQ products that are out there in the market. As far as Dextara CPQ is concerned, as I mentioned already, the implementation is very, very easy, and it can actually be completed in less than 2 weeks. And we will handhold our customers to ensure that within 2 weeks they can go live with Dextara CPQ. If there's any customization requirements that come up, we'll probably take the customization requirements as another sprint and not the implementation sprint, and customize the requirements for them and then deploy it again.
Got it. So potentially very quick implementation. But that also brings up the point, what are the top capabilities that your customers are typically asking for, maybe the top 3?
The 3 key capabilities, if I can just recall, because these come up continuously in my conversations with the customers. The first one is around product bundling, right? Because it's all about product configuration. How well you support bundling, support for hard bundles as well as dynamic bundles. Can we create product hierarchies? So that's one focus area and the capabilities that the customers ask. The second capability is around support for rules in general, for rules such as compatibility rules, which product is compatible with another product, qualification rules, which product is qualified to be sold in a certain territory or a region or for a certain account type. Does your product support attribute rules, bundle rules? Those are one broad area in terms of the capability support that they look from the product. The second one in the same segment around the rules is the price complexity. Can you handle the price complexity? Do you have the rule engine that can handle the pricing complexity, specifically when it comes to price overrides with respect to attributes, or price overrides with respect to bundle combination, or price overrides based on certain conditions, like for this particular account type, we want to have this specific pricing, or for a quantity based thresholds, can you dynamically change the price? So that's the second area. I would say the second area is largely into rules, both from a pricing rules as well as general product rules. The third one that I typically keep getting inquiries for is smartness in the product to support features such as product recommendations. Do you have a recommendation engine? Do you have a price recommendations that you can make? Do you have a discount recommendations that your product can make? In Dextara CPQ, these recommendations can be configured, as well as there's an ML or algorithm support which keeps learning based on the usage of the product, and it starts to do these recommendations on its own. So these are 3 specific key features that I'm always getting queries on, Frank. First one, just to summarize, is product bundling. Second one is around rule engine. Third one is your product having some smartness from recommendations, both for product, price, discounts, and anything else.
Very interesting. I think we mentioned these also a bunch of times before in the podcast, so very good that you confirmed this. And now, what do you consider, based on the experience with your customers, what do you consider the most interesting growth opportunity for the next 12 months or so?
We specifically think that there will be a lot of transformation in the lead to cash space, and we are heads down focused on building both our domain and solution depth in this lead to cash journey and the customer service journeys, Frank. Going by the growth and the evolution trend of CPQ, it seems that we are in the right software segment at the right time. And thankfully, we are fully focused in this area with all our investments intact. I think, we're doing all the right things that is required for us to be a successful leader in implementing lead to cash solutions and customer service journeys for our clients.
And when you look at what makes your CPQ product unique, what would be the elevator pitch for this, or a very short version on what makes your solution unique?
Dextara CPQ is built for performance. It's 100% built on Salesforce Lightning with the best of the breed functionality. Few functionalities that I would kind of highlight are advanced product catalog management, complex product configurations, be it linear products, hierarchical products, hard bundles, dynamic bundles, support for very, very complex pricing, be it list price, tier price, volume price, stair step, price overrides at an attribute level, at a bundle level, at a product level, at a quantity level. So you name it, you have in terms of handling the pricing complexity. Recommendations engine that brings the smartness to the product, and our recommendation engine works on 3 dimensions. One is from a product standpoint for upsell and cross-sell, from pricing standpoint so that sales agents actually preserve the margins for the company, and discounts in terms of they're not lost in the maze of discounts. They know what is an optimal discount that their peers or their colleagues have given for a certain products in the past. So these are few key features, Frank, that I think makes Dextara CPQ a highly differentiated product out there in the market. And having said that, proof is in the pudding. So as we get more and more customers sign up and implementations, we'll continue to learn from their experiences, and we continue to fine tune our product.
Got it. Let me ask a follow-up question to the pricing. You mentioned you support very complex pricing capabilities also. I was just wondering, you see more demand lately also for rebate management, promotion management, potentially somebody using the term value pricing also that they want to push, or price optimization?
Yes, I do hear this. I think that's why we have actually made our pricing engine completely generic, so that we can not only give the price at the product level, but we can also give different price overrides when based on a certain configuration of the product or the quantity. And then on the top of it, the third layer of pricing complexity we handle is with a rule engine, and we have a specific pricing rule types, and they can write any kinds of rules to ensure that they can do the rebate management, or they can support discounting or seasonal pricing, right? In a certain season for a certain period of time, there's a special discount or a specific different price. So all of that is possible in our product, Frank.
Great. And you have some projects even where customers are just interested in pricing, or it's always the complete CPQ package?
At this point in time, when it comes to product, it's complete product. But they kind of tap into our pricing experience to see how this can be brought into any other CPQ products that they're implementing, like Salesforce CPQ and stuff like that. Because a lot of these are principles on how we have implemented it, and that knowledge is definitely useful for our customers, even if they're not going with Dextara CPQ and they're using us or leveraging us only for professional services standpoint.
And another question I have is regarding CPQ industry events. How has that changed now after pandemic? Is that back to normal from your point of view? Are you going there? And what are any of the events that our customers should know about from your point of view?
So it's picking up very slowly. It's still not completely in the form that it was pre-pandemic, Frank. So obviously we do participate in a lot of Salesforce events like Dreamforce and other Salesforce local events in each of the markets. And apart from that, we actually end up doing webinars along with analyst firms.
Very interesting, but unfortunately, we're coming to the end of this episode. Hence, my last question is, what's a good way for interested listeners to get a hold of you in case they have any questions for you or your team?
the best way to know more about the solution or the features of our product or the product architecture is by reaching out to me at my email. I'm sure my email will be mentioned as part of your notes, Frank, on the podcast. Or they can simply drop me a message on LinkedIn, and I'll be very quick to react. Normally, I respond to all my messages within the 24-hour cycle. There are also a lot of product documentation that my team is working on, and most of that will be made available on social media channels like LinkedIn and YouTube very shortly.
Excellent. We will have all this information as in the show notes. Sreekanth, thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today.
Thank you, Frank. Love this session, and thanks a lot for promoting CPQ as a market segment. Appreciate it.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening and hope you learned something interesting today. If you like the podcast, please go ahead and rate it on iTunes or share it with your friends and colleagues. In the meantime, you can find us online at www.novocpq.com. So long, everyone.